This is going to be a very busy week in Pokemon Go because we are going to be getting the Valentine's Day event, as well as a raid day featuring a brand new legendary Pokemon, and also a Gigantamax Battle Day featuring a new Gigantamax Pokemon. I'm going to be going over everything you need to know regarding this week in Pokemon Go in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your week is starting off really well, and let's get right into it. So, like I said, this is going to be a very busy week because it's going to be the week we have the annual Valentine's Day event, and I will say this year's Valentine's Day is going to be a little bit interesting compared to previous years, but may not necessarily be as good. But we're also going to be getting a raid day featuring a new legendary Pokemon, as well as a Gigantamax Battle Day featuring a new Gigantamax Pokemon. So there's definitely a lot of things that we will need to do. Let's start off going over the details for the Valentine's Day event. Valentine's Day 2026 is going to start on February 10th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until February 15 at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. This is basically going to be an event that will lead into Pokemon Go Tour, but it's not necessarily going to be overly exciting. The featured Pokemon for this event is going to be both genders of Nidoran. This includes Nidoran female as well as Nidoran male, and you're also going to have Spinda with a heart pattern, which has always been kind of a staple with every Valentine's Day event. First, let's go over the event bonuses, and I actually saw an error with this infographic. They have the graphic for double the amount of candy, but in actuality, the bonus is going to be double XP. So, you're going to be able to get twice the amount of experience whenever you catch Pokemon, you're also going to get double the amount of Stardust whenever you open gifts, and you're going to have an increased chance to encounter Shiny Nidoran female as well as Shiny Nidoran male. If you're missing these shinies, this is going to be an event where you will have a greater chance at getting both of these Pokemon, so definitely take full advantage of that. And then when you're hatching eggs during this event, you're going to have an increased shiny chance of getting Nidoran female, Nidoran male, as well as Cherubi. Now, there's also going to be an opportunity for you to get Heart Trim Furfrou during this event, and this has always been very common with Valentine's Day, where this specific form of Furfrou is only going to be available during the event hours. So definitely take full advantage of that. If you still do not have Heart Trim Furfrou, make sure you pick it up during this event. You just simply have to go to a Furfrou and it will be available to you. Now, also during this event, there's going to be a global challenge, and when we complete it, we're going to get additional bonuses. The first bonus that we're going to unlock is a free timed research that is going to give us encounters with Spinda with a heart pattern, and this is a pretty big one, especially for people who are trying to get experience. You're going to get 750 extra experience whenever you successfully catch a Pokemon with a curveball throw. That is actually pretty insane. And then you're also going to have a bonus where gifts may include rare candy, and that is another really solid bonus that will make this actually worth it. Now, let's go over the wild encounters during this event. First and foremost, we're going to see Nidoran female and Nidoran male, as well as Furfrou. And as an uncommon spawn, we're going to see Audino. Audino is a pretty big one because it does give you the most bonus Stardust out of all bonus Stardust Pokemon. And then of course, with Nidoran female and Nidoran male, we're going to have an increased shiny chance. So yeah, these are actually pretty exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to them. And finally, let's talk about what's going to be hatching in 7-kilometer eggs. These will include Nidoran female and Nidoran male, and keep in mind, you're going to have a boosted shiny chance, as well as Cleffa, Igglybuff, Cherubi, another Pokemon with a boosted shiny chance, and also Happiny. And then, if you evolve Gardevoir and Gallade during this event, you're going to be able to get the move Synchronize, and then Gardevoir and Gallade are going to be in 3-star raids. Now, during this Valentine's Day event, we're also going to be getting a raid day featuring a new legendary Pokemon, which is going to be Therian form Enamorus. Actually, I think it's pronounced Therian. Yeah, regardless, this legendary Pokemon is going to be making its debut with this raid day. Let's talk about that event. Therian form Enamorus raid day is going to be happening on February 14th, which is of course Valentine's Day, from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. And of course, the featured Pokemon is going to be Enamorus Therian form, and it's going to be making its Pokemon Go debut. Now, considering that this is going to be a raid day, we're going to be getting the following event bonuses. First and foremost, you're going to be able to get Heart Trim Furfrou during this event, which is kind of a nice bonus, but you're also going to get 5 additional free raid passes whenever you spin Gym Photo Discs, and you're going to have an increased chance of encountering Shiny Love Disc as well as Shiny Furfrou from raids. I think that's kind of interesting because these are going to be raid bosses that are going to be coinciding, I guess, with Enamorus. I don't know how that exactly works, but still, it is going to be something you will be able to get during this particular event, and that is a bonus that you should definitely pay attention to if you're looking for these particular shinies. And then also, we're going to have the remote raid pass limit increased to 20, so that means if you're looking to do these remotely, you'll be able to do up to 20 of them. But considering that remote raid passes are quite expensive, I don't suggest you burn a whole bunch of your Pokecoins just to get this Pokemon. It may not necessarily be worth that. Now, there's also going to be an event ticket which you could purchase, and it's going to be available in the in-game shop as well as the web store, and it's going to give you 8 additional raid passes from spinning Gym Photo Discs for a total of 14, and you're going to get an increased chance to get Rare Candy XL from raid battles. And then you're also going to get 50% more experience from raid battles and double the amount of Stardust from raid battles. So these event tickets are typically worth it in my opinion, as long as you're going to go all out, because you do get a ton of additional raid passes, which does kind of add up to the value of the ticket, but these other bonuses are actually really good when it comes to doing a whole bunch of raids. Alright, now also happening during this week is going to be a Gigantamax Battle Day featuring Gigantamax Meowth. It's going to be making its debut with this Max Battle Day, and I actually think it might be worth it for a variety of different reasons. So let's go over the details for this, and then afterwards let me talk about the weekly content. Gigantamax Meowth Max Battle Day is going to be happening on February 15 from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. Considering this is a Max Battle Day, pretty much every single Dynamax battle is going to be featuring Gigantamax Meowth. Now, during this event, we're going to see the following event bonuses. The max particle collection limit is going to be increased to 1600, and then every power spot is going to host Gigantamax battles featuring Gigantamax Meowth, and power spots will refresh more frequently, so you're going to be able to get a whole bunch of these battles done. You're also going to get 8 times the amount of max particles from power spots, and then you're going to be able to do 2 additional special trades during this event, and you're also going to get 2 times the amount of max particles from exploring. And then the adventuring distance to receive max particles is going to be cut down to a quarter, and the remote raid pass limit is going to be increased to 20. There's also going to be a timed research, which is going to give you max particles, encounters with Dynamax Machop, as well as Machop Candy. And keep in mind that Dynamax Machamp as well as Gigantamax Machamp are going to be the best counters for Gigantamax Meowth. Now, also during this event, there's going to be a paid event ticket, which is going to give you 1 Max Mushroom, which increases your battle abilities within Dynamax battles, and then you're also going to get 25,000 experience as well as 6,400 max particles. And then you'll also receive the following bonus during event hours. You're going to get double the amount of experience whenever you do max battles. Alright, now let's talk about what else is going to be happening during this week, starting with max battles. So during this week, we're going to have Dynamax Growlithe in max battles, starting with tonight's Max Monday, which is going to be from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time. And Dynamax Growlithe may not necessarily be that impactful, but I will still say this is one worth getting, especially if you do not have many good fire types in your collection, but I will say there's definitely going to be better ones that you could probably get. So don't put a lot of stock into this one, but if you're still missing this particular Dynamax Pokemon, make sure you go out and get it through max battles. Now, when it comes to 5-star raids, we're going to continue to have both Dialga and Palkia in 5-star raids, and I will say these are actually worth raiding specifically for their candies, because if you were to get yourself an Origin form with the Adventure Effect move, then having a stockpile of Dialga and Palkia candies will allow you to use those Adventure Effect moves as much as you want. So yeah, I will say these are a bit of a high priority, but you do not have to break the bank of raid passes in order to get as many of them done as possible. And also, since these are going to be the 5-star raid bosses for this week, that also means this Wednesday's raid hour is going to be featuring both of these Pokemon. So if you want to just do a whole bunch of these raids in one go, then there is going to be a raid hour this Wednesday featuring both of these legendary Pokemon. And coinciding with these Pokemon in Mega Evolution raids, we're going to have Mega Pidgeot, which, again, when it comes to Mega Evolutions, this is not necessarily a high priority Pokemon, considering that it is specifically a flying type, and there is a flying type Mega Evolution that is going to be miles ahead of this one particular Pokemon. That is, of course, Mega Rayquaza. So if you have Mega Rayquaza, you do not necessarily have to ever worry about getting Mega Energy for Pidgeot. But if you do not have the Pokédex entry for this Mega Evolution, then that will be the reason why you will want to raid for it. And then when it comes to Shadow Legendary raids, we're going to have Shadow Regigigas, which I believe is still a pretty decent Pokemon in very specific situations. So if you want to have yourself a high IV shiny Shadow Regigigas, then make sure you do a couple of Shadow Legendary raids during this week. And then for the Spotlight Hour this week, we're going to have one featuring Munna, and it's going to have a 2x experience bonus for Pokemon you catch. And I will say this is not a Spotlight Hour that you necessarily have to care about. The XP bonus is certainly nice, but Munna is not a really highly valuable Pokemon. So yeah, I will say this is a Spotlight Hour you do not necessarily have to participate. And that leaves us with PvP, and for this week, we're going to have the Ultra League and the 2026 Championship Series Cup until this Tuesday, February 10th, and then afterwards, until the end of the week, we're going to have the Open Master League, along with the 2026 Championship Series Cup. So the Championship Series Cup is basically going to be throughout the entire week, but instead of the Ultra League, we're going to have the Master League after this Tuesday. And something of note, after this Tuesday, you're going to get 4 times the amount of Stardust from win rewards. So it'll be a great way for you to farm up some Stardust while you're doing your PvP battles. Alright, and there you have it. This is everything that's happening this week in Pokemon Go, and like I've been saying, it's going to be a pretty busy week. We got a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, and I am looking forward to it. I think there's definitely going to be a lot of things to do. Now, regarding these weekly videos, I do know that there's a lot of people out there who are saying that this feels very AI generated. It's actually not. It's me kind of recapping a lot of details for these various events, which is why you see a lot of content that is essentially from previous videos, but it's for me to kind of consolidate all of the information of the week's content. So that is the reason why I do these. I feel like it's a great way for players to just be a step ahead, to know everything that's going to be happening during the week, and it's certainly helpful for a lot of people. At least that's the feedback that I've been getting. So yeah, if you end up enjoying these, if you find them to be extremely helpful, then definitely say so in the comments below, and also mention some of the things that you are looking forward to that maybe I did not highlight. And also make sure you like this video if you really enjoyed it. That definitely helps out the channel. And also subscribe if it's your first time here. And make sure you turn on that notification bell as well, so you know exactly when I upload videos. And also make sure you check out the links in the description below. One of them is to my Patreon page, and if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm actually going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, make sure you go and check that out. And also check out my Etsy store. There's a link to that in the description below. It's kind of like the other thing that I've been doing lately, and I create a whole bunch of stuff for K-pop and anime. So if those are things that interest you, maybe you'll find something that you will like. So make sure you go and check it out. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you have a good week. My name is Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next video.